Blog entry, September 24th, 2014. I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy. The sleeping pills aren't working anymore. I was back in the maze again last night. Blue sky above me and golden field extending in all directions. I was running. This was the right path. I could feel it. I could find my way out of the maze, escape the thing chasing me, and then, I don't know, find the highway? Hitchhike? In my dream, I hadn't thought that far ahead, but I kept running in the moment, sure my life depended on it. And then I heard the whispers again. The same melodic piping, but it was different today. Doleful, haunting. I stopped and surveyed the area around me, and I noticed I was not alone. In the distance I saw a grayish form moving slowly through the grass. Whoever or whatever had joined me in my mysterious labyrinth was at least a few hundred yards away. I could not tell whether I was looking at a human or an animal or some sort of machine. The same doleful motif was repeated, and this time I recognized the gray silhouette as its source. I ran down the same path that I sensed would lead me to freedom. My lungs ached, my legs numbed. I could feel sweat beads rolling down my face and neck. Then I glanced to my left and saw something that nearly stopped my heart, drove me to stumble and fall to my knees in the dead grass. It was a small shack, square and flat-roofed, covered in rusted sheet metal, no windows, just one wood and mesh door, several burned-out neon signs. And standing in front of the building was the most disturbing, hideous sight I have ever seen. Breathing, staring at me with these bulbous marble eyes, yelling strange words to me in its shrill, woodwind voice. Its body was gray and cylindrical, about 3 feet high, covered in dry, leathery hide dotted. Its body was gray and cylindrical, about 3 feet high, covered in dry, leathery hide dotted with bulging, pus-filled blisters and disparate clumps of coarse black hair. At its base was a tangled network of tentacles, writhing and twisting, glistening, coated with a whitish slime. Extending from its midsection were 3 appendages, dry and crackling like tree roots, bending at the middle and culminating in a warty ball with 5 spindly scaled appendages, covered in a sickly black protuberances and tufts of hair. And topping the cylindrical trunk was what appeared to be a clear sack filled with opaque black liquid, bulging and then extending, reshaping itself like a stress ball. Attached to this water balloon head were 3 pure white spheres, unblinking, emotionless, but inarguably fixed on me. I think I screamed. I attempted to climb to my feet, but found myself drained of all strength and fell backwards, supine in the grass. I could feel the coarse stalks and scratching my arms as I collapsed, seeing nothing but blue, and then I felt myself spinning around, still falling, down through the grass and deeper into the earth. The gray creatures drilling flute-like cries pounding in my ears. The last thing I remember was something staring down at me, a purple sphere of some sort with a prominent red nose and 2 tiny green ears. Something reaching out with a long, skinny, purple arm, furry in texture, like a puppet. I couldn't make out its mouth, but its red eyes flashed gleefully. And then I woke up. the grayish light of early morning illuminating my room, and then I found myself staring again into the depthless red eyes embedded in a purple sphere. I imagined one of its long purple arms reaching for me, and I nearly screamed. Then I realized it was all just a dream, and I had been staring at the stuffed shredder monkey sitting on my shelf. I talked to my dad later. I asked him about the trip to Tahoe years ago, when I went out with him and we stopped at that gas station in the middle of nowhere. He said he remembered the trip. He even remembered that Goosebumps book I was reading. But he said we never stopped for gas, that it rained for the entire drive, and that I'd slept in the back the entire way. What is happening to me? Blog entry, September 26th, 2014. I can't sleep. I saw it today. I saw the shredder monkey. We were posting downtown, stalling in a ranch market parking lot around Wilshire and Alvarado. I got out to buy a soda and I looked across the street, and it was there, on the sidewalk down the block a ways, just standing there, staring at me. It's big, at least as big as a man. From a distance, it looked like one of the guys in character suits at Disneyland. Wide, square body, balancing on these two little skinny legs that shouldn't be able to support the weight of its bulging body and giant round head. Long, skinny arms, one nearly reaching to the ground, the other extending towards me. All purple with puke green mitt-like hands and feet, a big pink circle on its belly, blood red eyes. It didn't move. I know it was watching me. I jumped out of the ambulance and ran down the block to the spot I'd seen the giant monkey, between a lamppost and a rundown office offering payday loans. Nothing. Not so much as a purple hair. Sister Rose gave me this half-pitying, half-mocking face he's been throwing my way all week. I didn't tell him about my dream, but he knows something's up. He keeps on asking me if everything's okay at home. Apparently, Charlie Green says I have bitch eyes now. I'm scared. I keep on telling myself it's just my imagination. That it's the lack of sleep and the stress from work and applying to school getting to me. All mixed together and combined with that stuffed monkey on my shelf, staring down at me while I sleep. I took the thing and threw it in the attic. Maybe that will help. But even so, it doesn't change what I saw. I saw the monkey. Just like I heard Henry Gaffigan speak that day, like I saw those markings on the wall, felt Mary's hands grasping my wrists and the pain shooting from my shoulders to my fingertips when Green dropped me. And maybe I could still rationalize and explain it away if it weren't for the bruise on my shoulder and the scratches on my arms and the maddening memory of that sheet metal shack and that gray, scaly... I can't sleep. I can't see that thing again. I can't be in that maze. The pills aren't working anymore. I'm scared. Help me. Blog entry, September 28th, 2014. I'm feeling a little better today. I slept until 2 in the afternoon yesterday, and stayed in my room and watched Breaking Bad on Netflix until I fell asleep again. So now it's Sunday morning, and I'm looking at the world with a clear head, which is a bit ironic, because the dream I had on Friday night was anything but sanity confirming. I was in the maze again. You know the drill. Warm air, blue sky, dry yellow grass as far as the eye can see. I could see the rusty sheet metal shack, but it was far in the distance. I was calm, and I was lucid, and I knew I was dreaming. I had to take a psychology class at Citrus, and we talked about how some people are capable of controlling their own subconscious thoughts. This place, this maze, was all a construct of my imagination. Then something spindly and gray grasped my shoulder and spun me around. I was face to face with the monster. The thing balanced itself on the three warty balls attached to the spider-like appendages that extended from its midsection. Its cylindrical body extended lengthwise and tilted so the stress ball blob was near to the ground, and the tentacles hung from its tail end like hair dripping slime. Its three spherical eyes betrayed neither emotion nor intention.
Greetings. What are you called?
I then noticed that the monster had acquired a new accessory. What appeared to be a fuzzy gray scarf wrapped around the midsection of its pipe-shaped body and jelly-filled head, maybe its neck. And then I realized the thing had spoken to me in English. What the... Who are you? What do you want?
Don't be afraid. I am here to advise you. Forgive the curtness of my communication. My body cannot produce your language. The filter I am forced to adorn may be unfamiliar to your species.
I guess the filter was the fuzzy scarf. Okay. What's your name?
Fifi.
Okay, Fifi. What's your advice?
You are like myself. You have the ability to climb through planes.
Huh?
There are an infinite number of them. Every time you make a decision, another is created in which you decided the opposite. Billions of planes, all stacked on top of each other.
Like alternate dimensions, string theory. I've heard of that one.
You've climbed into another plane before. It was like your own, but not.
I realized Fifi was right. My dream, the one where I'd driven home drunk and killed some bicyclist, was supposedly in jail.
You felt weak and ill after. Am I correct?
Yes. I had a dream. I was throwing up after and almost had to go to the hospital. You mean I traveled to another dimension?
Yes. Climbing is difficult on the corporeal form. It is more difficult the farther you go from your own plane. The place you traveled to was barely several billion away. On my plane, capable climbers are trained since we are small things.
Your plane? You mean you live in another dimension?
My plane is untold quadrillions away from yours. Tens of billions of years ago, an asteroid ricocheted off a newborn star. My plane is the eventuality of that asteroid traveling north. Yours is the eventuality of it traveling south.
Is that where we are now?
No, this is the space between planes. It is a dangerous place. That is why I constructed this labyrinth.
Wait, this stupid invisible maze was you? So, you've been chasing me through it for weeks?
It was difficult to trap both of our corporeal forms at once. You continuously vanished.
No, you kept on disappearing. And where are you trying to keep me in here anyways?
Not keep you in, keep him out.
My anger dematerialized, replaced by ice-cold panic. I knew who him was. I glanced around nervously.
He is not here. He is a dark thing, a creature who wishes only destruction. He comes from a plane far, far below all the others. In my world, we call it shish voyeurs, and it is where we say evil beings are trapped after their natural life ends.
He's a demon. We call that place he comes from hell.
This is one of the places he lurks. He constructed the square box. He offers attractive sustenance to climbers who wander into his space, while their bodies are in a state of unconsciousness.
I was there once. I dreamed I bought some cereal. He's the monkey.
He takes many forms. You consumed his fruit. This allowed him to intertwine your consciousness with his, allowed him to find you and follow you, which is what he has been doing.
Yeah, I found a stuffed animal that looked just like him.
The object was a token, an assertion of ownership to deter others of his kind. But he could not claim you as his prize yet, as he was not yet strong enough to take corporeal form on your plane. Instead, he took possession of a weak mind.
Mr. Gaffigan. He was a confused old man. The monkey possessed him. He wrote on his walls.
The symbols were not him. That was myself. I followed the trail he left, took control over the same feeble consciousness. I could not stay there for long, as my strength was limited and the body attached to the mind I occupied was expiring due to the pressure of housing him. I should have been aware you do not understand my symbolic language.
Why did you care?
We nearly met inside the square box when we were both small things. My elders had told me to stay away from this place and to never consume anything offered to me here. But I had become curious. I saw you and tried to deter you, but I could not retain my corporeal form.
I remembered the footsteps I'd heard that day. The slamming door. I could see all of the strange products sold in the sheet metal snack shop, all in different languages, all unrecognizable. The demon monkey wanted to cast a wide net, lure children from all dimensions by offering them sweet, tasty things featuring their writing familiar to them. This was all madness, a fantasy, a fever dream. But somehow, for the first time in weeks, my life made sense. I was scared. But knowing what I was up against made me feel a little bit more powerful. So, this demon monkey thing wants to kill me or eat my soul or something.
He wants your essence, and he is very powerful, stronger than any climber. Eventually he will break through and take physical form in your world.
He already has. I saw the thing. How do I stop him? I noticed the sky above me had paled. My surroundings were blending together into a pixelated haze. I could no longer determine the point where yellow became blue. I was looking directly at Fifi, but let's go with she, was melting into a grayish blob, as though I were looking at her through a camera and fiddling with the focus. I was waking up. No way. Fifi, how do I stop it? The haze became a filmy cloud. I was no longer in the field, but falling down some foggy, sense-defying pipe, and Fifi's outline had become the sort of static, colorless shape you see when you close your eyes.
You must climb.
And then I was staring at stucco, and light was streaming in through the blinds, and my alarm clock was wailing. Last night, I didn't dream. I'm glad I decided to keep this blog. I'm sure I'd have gone crazy if I didn't have some outlet to organize my thoughts. And now if I don't chase down Fifi again, I've got to learn how to exercise the demon shredder monkey all by myself. Yeah, I'm aware of just how Harry Potter fanfiction that last sentence sounded. Maybe I am actually going crazy. But given the choice between looking like a nut job and getting eaten by that purple thing, I'll take crazy any